Hello, ladies, gents, and lost duplicants trying to survive in a hostile world. Today we're going to play a little bit of Oxygen Not Included, which was released very recently. It's been around for years, but it has finally been deemed fit for launch. The short form pitch that I was given for this game is 2D RimWorld, but in this game, it's not so much the interpersonal drama of RimWorld. In this game, the duplicants are pretty damn easy to manage unless you put it in a really difficult setting. The main conflict in this game is always resource management. Let's start a new game and I'll show you the basics, and then I'll jump into the current colony that it's on cycle 103. I'll show you my current progress, and then we'll finish off by showing you the atrocious disaster that was my very first colony. It is pretty damn amusing to look at it. Just click that new game. You can even pick whether do you want to have an easy time, do you want to have a slightly harder time. Still though, if you leave it in default settings, especially if you start in the most milquetoast location, there's a whole bunch of different planets. It's basically different biomes. Not really biomes, but the nature of the planet will be different. There will be different challenges. They will have, for example, this one is... which one is this one? This one is Oceania, lots of salt water. This one is extremely cold, and you're going to have to deal with super cold temperatures and lots of ice everywhere. You got Verdante with all kinds of trees and magma planet, and everything's hot, and you know it's more challenging. Let's start the colony on the default milquetoast kind of place. You can alter the starting settings, and this is where you can make it far more of a challenging survival experience. If you want to just play on default, at least in my experience so far, zero threat of ever dying. Let's go in there. This is fine to show the basics of the gameplay. Let's start that game. Basics of the gameplay right here. The problem with the survival aspect is that there isn't ever really, at least in my experience, your mileage might vary, in my experience, there isn't really any kind of immediate threat. You can just always feel that looming disaster 20 days from now, that if you don't solve this problem at some point, you're just all going to suffocate. That is the, like, there, I don't think, I cannot count even in the fingers of one hand the number of crises that I've had. I don't think I've had a single crisis in my playthrough, but of course I've been playing on default difficulty so far. Anyway, you start with 3 duplicants. In my experience, you want at the very least 1 digger. You want at the very least 1, not doctor is like the most worthless thing. Of course, I keep saying in the normal difficulty, at least 1 researcher, that's perhaps the most important. And we're also going to have a builder. We will go with 2 builders, 2 diggers, and that's probably the optimal thing. But we're just going to go with this. Let's have a mole man. Our researcher will be smart. Actually, wait. I need to actually check that they're actually good. Gastrophobia is fine. Quick learner is okay, but not for a digger. But he does have +7 excavation. We're going to keep this guy. Mole man sounds pretty good. A night owl, but he's also a mouth breather. I don't want that. You can re-roll that nonsense. Research, and he's also a rancher. Don't really care. Gastrophobia, meh. It's +7 in science. Twinkle toes, increase athletics. Cannot do cooking. Shrug. Seems like smart, but it's a good duplicant. And then we have here Travaldo. Travaldo is a piece of garbage. Just re-roll this guy. Maybe construction and cooking will be nice, but it's also gourmet. Increased cuisine, decreased food morale. Cooking is not super important to begin with. It will be nice to get construction. We can re-roll. Do we construction and digging? So we have, there we go, 3 and 3 in gastrophobia. Nobody can cook in these duplicates. This is perhaps a bad idea. This is maybe a way that is surefire dying, but not really. Cannot do decorating errands, increase decor morale bonus. That's fine. That's fine. Looks good. Alright, Ellie. You are uncultured swine. And we're going to start The pig pen was pretty good. The pig pen. There you go. Embark. Usually I'll put a lot more thought into that, but I just want to get into the game and get started. Alright, so here we go. You start in the tiny pocket of the asteroid or body floating in space. I've awoken at the target location, but colonization efforts have already hit a hitch. I was supposed to land on the planet's surface, but became trapped many miles underground instead. Although the conditions are not ideal, it's imperative that I establish a colony here and begin mounting efforts to escape. Here's the interface. Very intimidating when you start out. It's like, what the hell am I doing? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. It does give you some basic objectives to start. We need somewhere to poop. We need some kind of oxygen source. The most important thing in this game, do not suffocate. I mean, I wouldn't say that's the most basic, but it's not really your main challenge. In my experience so far, I could be wrong about that because I put about 30 hours in this game, not reached the late game at any point. This game is such an enormous pile of layers of complexity. You start very simple, you end up, if you keep going and going, I've seen this in YouTube videos because I've not even close to scratch that surface of getting to the late game of dug out almost the whole map. You get to the surface, start launching rockets to other planets, get to the bottom, check out the magma down there. There's also crude oil and stuff like that. It's pretty damn insane, but let's simply go slowly. We're going to dig out a little bit. First, we're going to survey our location. Here we have a little bit of oxalite, which creates oxygen for us to breathe. Very nice. It's like a starter helper, so you don't immediately suffocate because oxygen runs out. We have bodies of water nearby. That is perhaps, at least as far as I have seen, the most concerning thing always, having enough water, because water is your lifeblood. If breathing is the basics for survival, water is the blood that runs through the veins of your colony. Do we call these colonies? I'm pretty sure you call them colonies. So we have quite a lot of water sprouted about all over the place, so that's not going to be too much of a problem. We're going to dig towards the water, get those dug out. I don't know if they can reach that. They can reach at the most 4 tiles on top of them, so we're going to do that. Let's create some outhouses, some places to poop right there. If you look at the oxygen overlay, very breathable over here. There's some carbon dioxide right above us, so that can be a major problem when we start out. This carbon dioxide is heavier than the oxygen. It will fall, and it will just starve us out of oxygen if we remain here. So I don't think we want to dig up right away. That is a pretty poor idea, in my opinion. We'll probably just start digging down, and once you get enough room dug out, this carbon dioxide will be able to go down into a pit somewhere. We can also avoid it, maybe go into this water, perhaps dig a tunnel and make all the water consolidate, because there is water physics in this game. It will all come together. We have those digging orders doled out. Let's assign some priority to our friends. Our friend Mole Man is going to, of course, be super into digging. I don't know why I put that. Yeah, he's always going to do digging all the time. Actually, it's just high priority. It's not as granular as RimWorld, where you get 9 settings. No, is it 5 settings? Here you get also 5 settings, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. Uncultured Swine, she's also very good at digging. And of course, Martbutt is always going to do researching. And he's not going to be interested in digging. That seems pretty damn reasonable to me. Unfortunately, nobody can cook, but in the early game, you're not really concerned about that. You start getting worried about cooking much later on. Alright, so everybody has their priorities right now. They will just immediately go over there, and we can speed up the timer, the rate at which time goes. Here, you hit tab. That's what I'll be doing all the time. Hitting tab for the time to go faster. We start out with a little bit of supplies. We got some food over here. It doesn't really tell you. Storing 20 kilograms of food. Nutrient bars. Here's my full storage breakdown. 16,000 kilocalories of nutrient bars right now. There is these little cracks in the walls. More often than not, there's going to be a little bit of food in there. Let's see if we can see. Well, I think there's one right there. Mealwood seeds. They will be trapped in there. There will be seeds to plant later. There will be actual food that you can eat. This disgusting tuber that you can eat. But anyway, let's just dig that out. Of course, now we have access to water. So let's create go to plumbing, a pitcher pump. We can put it, let's put it right here. We'll have to dig around a little bit. Just dig this out. We'll create a tile that will go right there. Very, very nice and orderly. And dig this out as well. They'll all be dug out just for more space. Later on, of course, we're going to just keep going all over this colony. It's all this stuff is going to look majorly different for the time being, though. Just keep digging all this nonsense. There seems to be a lot of sand up there, so it's falling onto the rest of the area. We do want to get this done pretty quickly. The first cycle, you can see the progress of that right there. Right there. Get some outhouses, get some bathrooms going on right now. This will all be relocated later on, probably, unless I become a total scumbag and just leave it the way it is. A little bit of planning, though. There's something that you really always want to do. Just plan ahead your moves. I'm not going to be too careful about that, but normally it will take far more time to do such things. Because, you know, I put the outhouses here. Then you just say that you wanted to get the water to consolidate into this body of water. If you put the outhouses here, that's going to make it a little hard, isn't it? So maybe put the outhouses somewhere else. But now I'm kind of committed to this path because there's not that much time to get it done. Maybe just keep digging. And we'll put it in the back over here. And for the time being, what is going on right now? Oh, something. I was told something. I don't know what. Oh, I think somebody leveled up at some point. Anybody, just keep digging. Keep digging for your life. This water can all descend through here, so we're going to keep digging until you get that far. And while they're doing that, we're going to put some cots right next to the 3 cots right there. They will be moved elsewhere. Just so we can sleep the first day. Ooh, we're discovering... Yeah, of course, because we're digging so much, and there's only so much oxygen. We are, you know, getting a little thin of oxygen here. So it's important not to go too far or dig into more pockets of oxygen, such as this one right here. So this one... probably we want to have a ladder system that goes right down this way. That seems pretty damn good. So we're going to put that like so. And it'll go all the way down there. We'll dig around it. And we'll get into this nice pocket of oxygen there. There's also a whole bunch of breathable stuff over there. Although there's also carbon dioxide, so maybe it's a bad idea. But so there you go. We got some cots. People are going to be able to sleep the first night. And we also are going to need some outhouses. Right in this corner right here. We'll put 2 outhouses. And we'll also put 2 wash basins. Because, you know, people get dirty. And it's important to keep our colony germ-free. There is a germ overlay. Is there any germs in sight? Not right now. But germs will give you food poisoning, or they give you slime lung if you uncover such things. Maybe we want to... Hey, that ladder is not important. Let's assign higher priority. Let's give this a 7 so it gets done right now. And there you go. They go immediately to get it done. Hopefully they'll have enough time to build them before they all need to pee. Otherwise they'll pee on the floor. We don't want pee all over our budding colony. So let's get that all built. I'm pretty nice about this. Looking pretty good. We're going to tell them for these wash basins, only wash your hands when you're going that direction, because, you know, that will be right after you use the bathroom. Amazing. All right, now everybody can pee. Everybody is fine, doing great. Looking amazing. Amazing. So where do we want our bedrooms? Seems like we have decided we're going to put a nice ladder system right in this column. We're going to get access to all kinds of stuff. There is a whole bunch of coal down there, some phosphorite that I have no idea what I can possibly use for. There's all kinds of overlays. The power overlay has nothing right now. Which reminds me, we also need some kind of way of research, because that's also extremely important for a colony. I already took perhaps too long to put it on. So let's get that done. Let's get a station, a research station, so we can do some research. It's going to be there. We can probably move it later on. But for now, it's just going to be planted right there next to our printer. You can create rooms. Let's actually create a room for this right here. There's our research station right there. They're going to build it. If you may have noticed, there was like a plug thing because it requires electricity. The only way to provide electricity right now is through a manual generator. By the way, I have no resources, so that means I cannot build it right now. I need to dig for some copper. Thankfully, copper is right here, so pretty damn easy to access. Let's get this all dug out. Let's get that dug out. So anyway, like I said earlier, 4 tiles above them they can do. So you kind of want to subdivide your base in 4 tile tiers. Also 3 works. Depends. The more that you play, the more that you can ascertain just how high do you want your rooms. What is the temperature in here? Oh, thank you for asking. It's a balmy 21 degrees. Everybody's comfortable. It's very hot towards here where all the chlorine is. There's also some valuable plants over there, so maybe you want to go in there even though it's really hot with the chlorine that is toxic to your well, it's not breathable. It's not really toxic, it's just unbreathable. Let's get this nicely spaced together. Some copper that we have received. Let's get that research station built. The uncultured swine puts it on. Oh, it's not plugged. It needs some electricity. Let's create some power infrastructure here. We're going to have a manual generator. It's a hamster wheel. That's all that it is. And then a few batteries to store that energy. There you go. And everything will be connected by wire. And so it goes. Uncultured swine is going to get those buildings done. There's no more digging. So our friends that are prioritizing digging is like, whoa, I got nothing left to do. I guess I'll help out with this building. Because everybody, unless it specifically tells you, everybody can do everything. They're just more or less efficient at it. We can even dig into this and all the water will come down. It will flood all this stuff, so you don't really want to do that just yet. You want to maybe make this water pit bigger or something like that. For the time being, we don't really need to dig out there. I mean, there's a lot of oxygen, but there's also a lot of CO2, so it will eventually, we'll continue digging a lot. But as I was saying, we're going to have a tier system. Oops, let me cancel these. We're going to have a tier system of tiles. We're going to create a nice little room right here for our duplicants. I believe they can still reach that ceiling right there. Can they reach it, or do they have to go for there? They might have to go for there. We'll give a couple doors to our barracks. This is all exemplifying how to build a room. It's a bad idea to make a barracks this small because you're going to start getting more duplicants soon. See how this gauge is filling up? Once it's full, you can print somebody else. Amazing. Somebody needs to finish this up, but of course there was some digging orders given out. If you don't micromanage the prioritization, they're just going to do whatever. Whatever they want to build first. But this is a copper wire built. Now people are idle because there's nothing else left to do. And nobody's operating this. Why? Why is no one operating? Let's go into the priorities. Operating. Nobody is prioritized to do that. Somebody should jump on that, and probably one of them will. I kind of want somebody to operate this, so we're going to have smart butts. Whenever there's no research to be done, you're going to be operating things. Okay, Mr. Smart Butts? So he'll be the one to jump in there. Mole Man needs something to do, as does uncultured swine. Let's build a nice little bathroom over here. There you go. For everybody to jump in. This is very low priority. I shouldn't be prioritizing that. I should be prioritizing always having enough oxygen. This is all breathable. It's okay. Oops, I dug into the CO2 that I was talking about earlier. All the CO2 is going to slowly collapse through here. And if I don't get it out of my base, it's going to choke us all to death. So what I can simply do for the time being, the stopgap solution is to... oh, no, I did not dig through it. Is the oxalite decayed because it just gave out all its oxygen. So let's do something like that. And I don't really have a way to get there. So because it's so far high, so high up. So we'll just put a tile like so. It's very janky. It's very upsetting to my pleasant visuals. Okay, that is all nicely filled up, but there's no research assigned. Let's go to the research screen. The most intimidating thing you have seen today. Unless you live in the woods and you were encountered by a wild bear trying to eat your lunch. A lot of technologies. What do I start? What the hell do I click on? Holy crap. There's no way of you to know. For you to know, you just go in and you look at what you might want. Do I want this ventilation? That sounds useful, but maybe I want some plumbing. Maybe I want to create medicine. Maybe I want to give my guys employment so I can get to advanced research. That sounds useful as hell. Oh, but there's also better batteries, better wiring. Ooh, internal combustion. That sounds pretty damn important. Maybe I should go for that. There's also algae terrariums over here. Ooh, planter box. We can grow some food. Food seems kind of important in this game. Maybe I should prioritize that. Oh, you say you can have farm tiles? That seems like something I should prioritize super fast. Yeah, this has convinced me. There you go. We're going to do that, and we're going to get some farm tiles so we can get food production right away. Now, this is the thought process that you might have had. Is it correct? I don't know. Honestly, I don't have enough expertise in this game. I will tell you, though, you do. This is like probably a valid choice. You may want to go for internal combustion first. You may want to, if you are in a place that just... It just full of really noxious gases. Maybe you want to prioritize the ventilation, but you can't really run the gas pumps effectively without some fossil power. I mean, you'll have the hamster wheels, but they are really a pain in the butt to use. You need a duplicate to always be running on it. So I think it's a decent choice to go for this. Something else that you might be concerned about is we need more oxygen. Right here is the electrolyzer, perhaps the most effective way of producing oxygen, so you may want to rush there. The thing is, I'm trying to exemplify, trying to illustrate the point that you don't know. You don't really know unless you look for a guide, you look for video. And this is not really a criticism, it's just a thing that you just have to learn as you play, really. And, trial and error, or there's no real guide. But it does tell you, hey, you have no way to produce oxygen. You should maybe look into that. Hey, you have no food source. You should probably look into that. So that's why we're going to pick food creation first. Let's dig into here. I still don't want to... Let's see. Oh, this CO2 is just so intimidating. I really don't want to go in there too quickly. But if we create a nice pit for this CO2 to go into, the problem is, of course, all this water. We're probably going to dig enough. I won't have time in this place session. Holy shit, it's been 23 minutes already. That's a problem it's not a problem. It's a thing in this game that happens so often. I'll be in the evening after work, hard day of work. I'll be like, let's boot up oxygen not included. I want to play for an hour. Next time I look at the clock, it's 11:30 in the night, and it's time to go to bed. I've been playing for the last 4 hours, and I cannot stop, because something that this game is absolutely brilliant and excellent, perhaps the best I've ever encountered at this, is what I like to call problem-leapfrogging. You're constantly leapfrogging from one problem to the next. You're constantly solving problems in your colony. Right now we're trying to get to, do I have enough food? I don't know what to do about that. Let's continue digging. We'll get some mushrooms out of the walls. That's my food problem. We're going to keep digging. Oh, I'm digging too much. I don't have enough oxygen. Let's put some oxygen on. Oxygen diffuser. Oh, what? Oh, this requires algae and power. Oh, I don't have enough power generation. I also need to find algae for this oxygen diffuser to work. So let's go find some Algae. Oh, geez, the algae is surrounded by slime lung. Now I have this slime lung problem. You know, it's constantly leapfrogging from one problem to the next. Constant problem solving is so satisfying to deal with it. So anyway, you have seen, this is like the bare bones basics. Let's save that for some reason. I don't plan to return to it. But let's load the darkest dystopia. No, it's... That is my current play. Yeah, this you go. Yeah, is that the date? Yeah, 19th. That's when I saved it. Let's go into, the newest save. Into... This is, I would call it the mid-game. I've been 100 cycles in. Perhaps I am getting into the late game. This looks awful, but you start the time and everything will somewhat get solved. All the problems that show. Why is people suffocating? What is going on right now? These problems were not happening when I last saved. Why are you guys suffocating? What's your problem? Are you trapped in there? Yes, you are. Yes, you are trapped in there because you are building this insulated room from the bottom. Instead of going, of course you are doing that. Let's just deconstruct this. I mean, this is not the way I wanted this to go. I wanted to illustrate how important, how different the gameplay is now. Let's assign this to a yellow alert so they will do it immediately. So our friend, Pretty Cunning and Ada, will not suffocate in the CO2 pit. But anyway, let's not worry about that. These guys are not growing because of the temperature here, because this is the ice planet, and boy, is it a pain in the ass to regular temperature all the time. 13 degrees outside the insulated area, -2 inside here. If you go a little further down, you'll see 14 degrees. Like it's reasonable if you look at the temperature overlay. It's pretty damn cold everywhere. I have not worked very hard at actually heating up the base. There's all the industry block over here. That is also a mess. Like, don't get me wrong. This is also a super messy base. But still, you know, it's been organically growing. Let's see if we can start from the printer here. The printer, which is now ready to print something, which, by the way, we did not get to see. So let's see the printing thing. How you get new colonists. Choose a blueprint. Ooh, you get new people to print. Or you can get a pipsqueak. You got Marie. You got Nails. And you got Smart Butts. Oh, Smart Butts can come with... I didn't know that. I didn't know that it saves them in a database and then they come back. That's pretty cool. Did not know that. 7 creativity. Right now, I'm not looking for more dupes. They are the base is operating nicely with 16 people. I might even have too many. Let's just get a nice little pipsqueak. It'll be printed right there. But that's how you get new people. Please deconstruct this so Pretty Cunning and Ada can get the hell out of there. Oh my goodness, they were about to die. Anyway, let's just put them in regular play, and we can see from the printer. Building some bathrooms over here. They're nicely piped because they're actual bathrooms. The pipes are, you know, wastewater goes that way. The good water comes this way from my giant water tank that I have been pumping water into all the time. We have over here, let's see if I can get that overlay. Oh wait, here's where I dump all the water that I find in the map. I've been digging all over the place for extra water. It all gets dumped through a system of pumps into this container. I am in the process of getting to this water over here. I'm being a little anal about water. It's not that important right now because I have so much of it already, but I just like gathering water, okay? Here I am starting to build a nice little wrangling unit for critter husbandry, because I have realized if we can find one, can we find one of those little fellows? There's critters on the map that you can wrangle, and then you can, you know, perform animal husbandry for them to give you resources. I realized without knowing before, that there's these little creatures that, there you are. These little guys, they poop coal. So I was like, oh, a renewable source of coal, you say. Let's wrangle them up, and I'm going to figure out how to do that. I have no idea how to do it, but we'll figure it out. The problem that I was dealing with There's ice all over the place. This is a failed experiment that I did earlier. I've been dumping all my ice over here. If you hover over here, you'll see ice. 2000, let's see. There's all kinds of ice over there. And it's slowly melting. Do you see right there? 25 tons of ice. There is no volume restriction, so you can drop all kinds of tons of stuff. There's no weight mechanics, so this is not going to break no matter how many tons of stuff you put on it. But what I'm getting at is, okay, I'm going to dump all the ice over here that I gathered from all my digging. This is all ice. So I'm going to tell them to dump it all the way over here, and then I'm going to heat it up through a system of pipes. And it will become water, and I'll have a nice, awesome water tank, and it's basically unlimited. This map has so much ice. The problem that I think is happening, I don't know for sure, is that there's so much ice over there that no matter how much water I run through here, hot water, it's just not enough to melt it, because you have 20 tons of ice in one tile. And you need as much water to be heating that up. It's slowly heating up because it used to be minus 21 degrees. Now it's 19 degrees. So it's slowly heating up. Hopefully this will eventually become water, and perhaps it will flood my entire base. We have here a mushroom operation. They only grow in CO2. So you have to find a place that is drowned in CO2, but you also need to make it warm enough, which is 5 degrees to 25 degrees. We have all the power over here with a smart battery that shuts off when it's full, so that way you're not wasting power. It just runs off battery operation. Here we have our hydrogen processing generators. The hydrogen comes, let's see that gas overlay. The hydrogen comes through here after the excess gets stored in tanks, of which I have none right now. A little bit of a mess of pipes over here, I will admit, is not the most efficient. We have all this electrolyzers right here. They produce oxygen and hydrogen with if you supply them water and if you supply them power. This produce oxygen, which is being pumped right out with all these pumps, and in system of pipes it gets first stored over here. These enormous gas storage is all full of oxygen, and the excess, or rather the excess gets stored there because it all goes into the base. Right now everything is saturated. You see that 2,000 grams per tile of oxygen. Once everything gets to 2 kilos, the atmosphere, that's like the highest gas pressure you can have, it will not vent anymore. So it's slowly getting replenished, and the hydrogen all floats to this little trap over here. There's a hydrogen detector over here. Whenever there's hydrogen, this pumps it down to the generators. Have I illustrated enough how you go from the basics, let's dig some latrines, to let's create a giant industrial complex of nonsense? Here we have the kilns that create ceramic from sand? From clay. From clay you create ceramic. If you heat it up enough, you can learn a lot about physics and manufacture with this game. Here we have a crusher that is right now making copper out of copper ore. This guy is creating copper from copper from copper ore, and iron from iron ore. There was also gold, but that's all gone now. These are my farms. They used to function very nicely, but there was a problem that I forget, and all this got a little bit colder. So right now I was doing all that. I'm in the process of heating up this entire area. That's what I was in the middle of doing when I saved this. I've been digging this way because I wanted to get to these. Sometimes there's these ancient little leftovers of other civilizations. You can get in there and get small bonuses. They're not super important. There was another one over here. Here's a little neural vacillator that gives bonuses to your dudes. It's pretty nice. There's a whole bunch of algae over here. Usually if it was warmer, slime is full of slime-loving germs, and they're a pain in the ass. But since it's so cold, all the germs are dead. This polluted water will be there you go, 84,000 germs. Because of the cold, they're slowly dying. But, you know, the way this works, I have this pool of disgusting water. it gets piped through the filter, the siever. It's a sieve, okay? It's a sieve, which is, yeah, liquid filter. It gives the polluted water to my water sieve. And it gives the normal water straight to the chlorine tanks. So the germs are purified. Of course, the polluted water needs to be warmed up through this system of pipes and warmers. I mean, this is a very inefficient way of doing it. There's better ways to warm things up, but I'm a noob. I don't know exactly how to do it, so this is the system that I worked out. And then goes in here to the water sieves after it's detected that the temperature is warm enough to go through it. Otherwise, it will be coming into ice, freeze out the pipes, and the pipes will get destroyed that way. It's very annoying. Anyway, once it's warm enough, it goes through the water sieves. It becomes nice, pure, pristine water, but it's still full of germs, so it goes into the chlorine tanks. If you look at the overlay, see, here comes the polluted water. It becomes good water with germs. It all goes into this, and it goes straight into the water tanks. And then it waits there. I have a timer over here, so it waits here a little bit for the chlorine to do its job. And then it gets dumped into my pure water reservoir, which still has germs because I made a mistake earlier, but the germs are slowly dying out. Right now, there's no germs coming in here. But earlier, I was dumping the normal water. I was dumping it right in here without purifying it first, so it was giving germs to everybody, which is not a huge deal. It just gives some people diarrhea sometimes. It's just annoying, but you don't really want it. Here we have a few statues on my barracks of all my different people. I have left a single colony here in this bedroom, colonist in this bedroom, because he snores. So he has his dedicated little bedroom over there with a nice little window. You see, this is my base. Welcome to my base. It's been a disaster, a constant disaster of things happening all the time, but slowly building up towards the surface, getting a whole bunch more coal. Here's a chlorine gas vent. The renewable resources come from the vents. There's a vent over there. There's some volcanoes over here that I'm sure I can use to warm up this base really, really nicely. But it might also melt everybody, so I've been too afraid to go over there and try to do something with that magma. Today I did not touch on skills. Every one of your little dupes, oh my goodness, they have so many skills to assign. But there's a morale system. You cannot assign too many skills, like I eat poop. If I train her in exosuit training, you see how the morale needed 9+3? So the red bar will be higher than the green bar. That means she'll be stressed out. If they're too stressed out, they will start acting out. So as long as you keep that green bar above the red bar, you're going to be fine. Your dupes are not going to give you problems. But you see all the skills that you can give them: digging, building, farming, cooking, decorating, researching. You are building specialized dupes that will do the work that you want them to do. Here is I like titties. He's my very, very smart researcher. I smell farts, loves to go digging. He's also training exosuit. He's the guy that's going to be wearing exosuits, which is a thing. You put on a freaking astronaut suit and you can go out in extreme temperatures and stuff like that. They have an oxygen tank, so it makes them able to do all kinds of stuff. I lift crap. He is an operator and carrying things. I cook garbage. Well, pretty descriptive. She can also do all this stuff. Bubbles and icicle nibs. I build shit and I love dicks. Then we have all these people that are specialized in all kinds of stuff. Here we have Artsy Pooter. She's ready to level up to aesthetic design. There you go. Oh, amazing. She's going to build the most beautiful statues. This is not a beautiful statue. It was built when... wonder if it tells you who did it. It doesn't tell you who did it. One of my dupes was like, I'm not very good at it, but I'll give it a try. Made a misshapen, disgusting, melting mushroom. Not the greatest piece of art I've seen all day, but she tried. She tried really hard. Anyway, I think I have shown you what this game is like. All the mess of pipes, which looks really intimidating. But you saw how it starts. It starts really, really simple. And this looks extremely complicated and awful. Like, how do you make sense of this nonsense? when you are building it, it makes all kinds of sense. It's so intuitive. I think that you already saw when we were doing the basics that you start out really simple and then you just go from there, building all the pipes and everything. And let's finish up. Might as well save. I mean, nothing really happened, but we'll save. We did save those poor bastards, right? So I guess something did happen. Let's load Embrace Mediocrity, which was my very first colony. I completely forget it too. I don't know how it looked like, but you can hopefully see the difference between what it used to be, my very first attempt, and then later on it became a little bit more managing. Honestly, it doesn't look that much worse than the current thing that I showed you. We got all these farms over here. I completely forget all the hydrogen. For the longest time I was like, what is going on? Why do I get all this hydrogen? Because I have all these electrolyzers spread all over the place. They're all over the place. And hydrogen is being produced by all of them. If you look at the gas overlay, there's hydrogen coming out of all over the place, and it all slowly floats over there. So, shockers. So I just gotta pump all that stuff into generators. There you go. Problem solved. But it's all a complete disaster. Everything's super decentralized. A whole bunch of compost piles over here. I figure out after a long time that polluted water is actually super useful. I was just dumping it in here like it was something disgusting I didn't want. So I just walled it off. It's like, I'm just going to make a septic tank and I'll just won't worry about it. This is absolutely gross. All the nasty gases over there. But then I realized, oh, wait a minute. You can actually purify it. You go through it and that actually works. And then you dump it in here. It's full of disgusting germs because I didn't know how chlorine works. And then I looked up at a guy's like, what do I do about all these germs? Oh, you use chlorine. But don't you just dump it into the water tank and then do nothing about it. You have to make a sealed chlorine tank in which you can maybe get into the reservoirs and all that stuff. And that's what I was building right now, I think. Right here, that's what I was trying to build. I was in the middle of it. Not very good, though, because there's all this carbon dioxide. I need to pump it out. First, create a vacuum, and then pump in the chlorine, and then pipe all this stuff over there. So anyway, this is just a curiosity that I just wanted to show you. Here's a natural gas geyser. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the late game because that is so many hours in that I haven't gone there yet. But just take my word for it. Look for the videos online. You can definitely see a ton of them. There is a freaking space exploration interface. You're launching rockets, going to other planets and asteroids, getting resources from there. I don't know what for. I don't know exactly what's the objective once you get that far. But I guess just to continue thriving. You just keep digging up to the surface. Of course, it's a vacuum, so you need the exosuits and build scaffolding into the place. You can get in the research tree. You can get to renewables. Or is it renewable energy? So you can have solar panels up there and steam turbines. But for that, I think that you need plastic to be able to build those, which means you need to find petroleum somewhere or oil to refine into petroleum. And you can all investigate all the rocketry, all the nonsense. That is definitely the late game that I cannot show you, but I can just simply tell you it exists. It's awesome. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully I have convinced you that this game... Here's my parting thought. This is autistic paradise. If you have any kind of tendency, I would say I have some mild tendencies. And I'm not saying that... I'm saying that in the most positive way possible. If you have any kind of tendency of just going down that rabbit hole of, I'm going to finagle this and make it optimal. I'm going to take this 2 kilos of thing and I'm going to pump it over here. I'm going to take this volume that it has to be exactly this much. I'm going to optimize the room so it has exactly the hydrogen intake that it needs to come to the other the power generator. I'm going to make a smart battery so it only activates only. If you have that kind of tendency at all, if you have ever played a SimCity game and spent 7 hours like it was nothing, this game is the game for you. This game is so good at that. I literally have not found a game that's better than this at problem leapfrogging, and optimization. Like, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. How is not even the limit. The sky is not the limit. The sky is just another place where you can build things. Anyway, so there you go. Oxygen not included. Fantastic game. A++++. Would buy again. Hopefully, I'll see you with your own dupes. Have a great time. See you in the next one. Until then, have your dupes maybe not suffocate.